Hello everybody and welcome back to the Java tutorial. Today we're going to be focusing on classes, so a little bit of basic class syntax. So I'm actually going to use this as an opportunity to organize my code. So in the source, we have one file, and that has all our code, and it's kind of getting messy. So what if you wanted to split this up into not methods, but different files to make it kind of easier to read? It's also so that we can organize this by topics. So pretty much all of our episodes have code in this one file, but what if we wanted to kind of split it up? So we're going to be doing that today. So let's start with, I believe, if I'm right, episode 3 was Hello World. So let's create a new file in a default package. Or, let's create a new package actually, and we'll call this episodes. And then in the episodes package, I'm going to say new class, and I'll say episode 3 as the class name, and then click finish, and it'll create a class with the name episode 3. Now let's look at this. So package episodes. This simply means that it's in the package episodes, and that's not the default package. Now let's look at the class. So public means that you can access it from outside. Class just tells it it's a class, and then the name. And then we have the curly braces to represent the block of code that is contained within this class. So everything that we put inside this code block here is a member of episode 3, the class. So what did we do in episode 3? We just did the hello world. So I'll create a method. So public static void, let's say I'll say run for now, just because I'll call this method from the main class. So then we'll just say system.out.println hello world. Now if I wanted to call this, I would have to go to the main class, and I would have to import this class. Since it is not in the same package, we have to import it. So what I'm going to say is I'm going to say import episodes dot star. What this means is I'm importing every class in the episodes package. Now if I wanted to import only episode 3, I just say dot episode 3, and then I'll call it up here episode 3 dot run. So I'm using the class name and I'm calling the static method. So this is the static method. And I'm using the class name and I'm just calling it. So if I run this method or run the class, I should get a hello world at the top. Now let's do this for the other one. So episode 4 was the basic syntax, so the variables. So I'll just create a new class, episode 4, and notice how, once again, how the name of the class is the same as the file. So in episode 4, I'll just say, public static void run, and in here we'll have our variables or our syntax, so expressions all the way up until there, just like that. And I'll just realign this. Alright, so that's episode 4. Now for episode 5, we're going to get an error because we don't have I defined. So episode 4.run, and then for number 5, what are we on? Are we on 7? Yeah, we're on 7, I think. Yeah. So public static void run. So I'm just going to copy all this code here. I'm going to put it, so we did control flow. Yeah, control flow in episode 5. So I'll put that in there, and I also just need to define int the I. So int I is equal to 10. Now for episode 6, we did functions. So new class, episode 6, finish, and I'm just going to put in public static void run. So here, I'm going to copy and paste both methods that we defined, like that, and then I'll put in the the when we called them. So just like that. So now we can actually call these episodes individually. So if I only call, if I call only episode 3, it only prints out Hello World. If I do episode 4, prints out all the episode 4 stuff. Now notice how I don't need to add any imports because they're all in the same episodes package. Episode 5, I forget what we did, control flow, and then episode 6 was the methods. So this is kind of an extension of the method of the last episode. However, I'm going to add a couple things. I'm going to create a new class, episode 7, like that, and I'm just going to give one basic thing. So we're going to create our first non-static member of a class. So essentially, I'll explain this difference briefly now, but then once we actually go into classes, I'll do it more in depth. So if something is static, that means that it exists in the program from the start to the end. But classes are not only made to do that, and that means that only one copy of it exists. So only if I were to have a variable public static string name is equal to episode 7, only one copy of the string exists. So this syntax is the public, so it's accessible outside of this class. So if I were to say in main.java system.out.println episode 7.name, I can access it just like a method, except I don't use curly brace or parentheses. So I'm just accessing the variable. So print out episode 7. Now this is the only copy of the variable. You can change it, but if it changes everywhere. Now if you want to kind of create specialization or several instances of a class, like if we were doing graphics and you wanted to have it some sort of, like, if you wanted to have multiple objects, you would use what's called non-static members. So I'll say public string name, and I'll say is equal to nothing for now, just like that. Or public, you can't use the same name, I'm sorry. Instance name. So what will happen is, since this is not static, this variable instance name is copied throughout each instance. Now, the beauty of classes is you can create a bunch of instances using this template. So classes are essentially templates for instances. Now in let me just do the public static void run method. So if I wanted to create an instance of this class, I'm going to say episode 7, same name as the class, e7 is equal to new episode 7, just like that. And what this does is it takes a type, it allocates memory for an object of type using the template episode 7. Now if I were to print out name, it would give us a null pointer exception. It would throw an error because instance name is not defined. Now what if I say e7 dot instance name is equal to instance 1, just like that. Now I want to print out system.out.println e7.instance name, just like that. Now I'll go into main.java and I will say episode 7.run. And if I run it, I should get instance 1. So we are creating an instance here of episode 7. Now if I wanted to create a second instance, so episode 7, let's say e7 underscore 2, so the second one is equal to new episode 7. So this, I didn't explain it, but this new keyword here, this is called the allocator. I forget, let me just get the name, I forget it. There's a technical term for it. It's called the allocation keyword, that's what it is. So this allocates memory for a new object, a new instance of the object. So new episode 7, just like that, and we'll say e7 underscore 2 dot instance name is equal to instance 2. Now if I printed this out, I would get instance 1 and then instance 2. However, if I printed out e7 dot name, because you can still access static members through instances. Oops. So e7 dot name, and then e7 2 dot name, they would be the exact same. So episode 7 and episode 7. Now what if I changed it? It would still change throughout all of the copies. All right, so yeah, that's a good. That's more in depth than I wanted to go, but all I wanted to do was just tell you how to create variables in a class. So this is a member of episode 7 of the class. You can create methods too. Then we'll look into that. But yeah, so in the next video we're going to be doing some conceptual stuff. We're going to be looking into the memory of Java, how it works, how references work, and that'll be interesting. So I'll see you guys then.